In the early 1980s, personal computing was still a niche pursuit. Computers were expensive, bulky, and largely inaccessible to the average consumer. Most people didn't need a machine powerful enough to run spreadsheets, graphics programs, or even the early forms of gaming software. The industry was dominated by big companies like IBM and Apple, whose products were distributed through retail channels and corporate resellers. It was a world that seemed closed off to outsiders, a world that required connections, capital, and experience to enter. But for Michael Dell, a young student at the University of Texas at Austin, this presented an opportunity rather than a barrier. Michael was fascinated by computers, not just as tools but as instruments for innovation and efficiency. He saw that the way computers were being sold, through layers of intermediaries and expensive markups, was inefficient and alienating to customers. Why buy a pre-configured machine with features you didn't need, and pay for packaging and distribution that didn't benefit you? Why couldn't the process be simpler, more direct, and more personal? In his dorm room, Michael Dell began experimenting. He didn't have a massive lab or a corporate team. He had a small workspace, a few machines, and a vision. He started by upgrading and selling computers directly to consumers, cutting out the middleman. This simple idea, selling computers directly, customized to the buyer's specifications, would become the foundation of Dell's empire. Dell's early experiments were about more than just profit. They were about control, efficiency, and customer focus. By building machines to order, he could ensure that each computer met the buyer's exact needs. He could also respond quickly to changes in technology, swapping out components as new hardware became available. This flexibility, which seemed obvious today, was revolutionary in an industry dominated by standardized models and slow supply chains. Michael Dell's approach also reflected his personality, ambitious, pragmatic, and relentless. He worked long hours, juggling school assignments with orders, building each machine himself when necessary. Friends and fellow students became part of his first network of collaborators, helping him assemble machines, test them, and deliver them to clients. By 1984, just a year after beginning his dorm room venture, Michael formalized his operation as PCs Limited, a company that would later become Dell Incorporated. This marked the beginning of a story that would take a small college startup and turn it into a global powerhouse. It was the story of how a young entrepreneur recognized inefficiency, imagined a better way, and acted boldly in a market dominated by giants. The Dell story begins with vision, persistence, and the courage to challenge the status quo. What started in a tiny dorm room would grow to change the way the world purchased computers, laying the groundwork for a company that would one day employ tens of thousands, operate worldwide, and redefine direct-to-consumer business models. Starting a company from a college dorm is rarely smooth sailing, and Michael Dell's journey was no exception. In the early days of PCs Limited, every order represented both an opportunity and a challenge. Michael had the vision, but he lacked many of the resources and networks that established companies took for granted. He had to figure out how to source components, assemble machines efficiently, and convince customers to trust a brand they had never heard of. One of the first obstacles was supply. Computer parts in the 1980s were expensive and often sold in bulk to established distributors. For a small startup, obtaining quality components at reasonable prices required ingenuity. Michael began negotiating directly with suppliers, sometimes paying cash up front to secure small batches of motherboards, processors, and memory modules. Every purchase carried risk. If a customer didn't buy the machine, the components could sit idle, tying up capital. Assembly was another challenge. In his dorm room, Michael personally built most of the first machines. He carefully tested each system, ensuring that it met his high standards for reliability. Friends and classmates often helped him troubleshoot, package, and deliver orders. Word of mouth became a crucial marketing tool. Satisfied customers recommended PCs Limited to others, creating a small but growing client base. The sales process itself was unconventional. Unlike larger companies, which relied on retail stores and advertising campaigns, Michael sold his machines directly, over the phone and through mail order catalogs. He learned quickly that listening to customers' needs was critical. People wanted computers tailored to their work, whether for word processing, engineering calculations, or gaming. Michael offered customizable configurations and clear explanations, building trust and loyalty. Cash flow was always tight. Each sale had to cover component costs, labor, and shipping while leaving enough margin to reinvest in the company. Michael worked long hours, sometimes overnight, to keep operations running. He balanced this with classes, juggling his studies and his entrepreneurial ambitions. His dedication drew attention, even among professors who were impressed by his practical approach to business and technology. Despite the challenges, small victories reinforced his strategy. Customers appreciated the direct, personalized service. Each successful delivery validated the idea that bypassing traditional retail channels could be profitable while providing a better experience. By the end of his first year, PCs Limited had grown from a dorm room experiment to a legitimate business, generating thousands of dollars in revenue and attracting attention in local business circles. These early struggles and triumphs taught Michael crucial lessons: the importance of customer focus, the power of lean operations, and the value of personal involvement in every aspect of a young company. It was the foundation of a business philosophy that would carry him through the challenges and successes to come. The stage was now set for scaling the company. What had begun as a dorm room experiment would soon need a formal business structure, more employees, and a broader vision. But for Michael Dell, the first lesson was clear: direct engagement with customers, relentless attention to detail, and a willingness to learn from every mistake could turn a tiny startup into something much bigger. By the mid-1980s, Michael Dell's dorm room operation was reaching its limits. The success of PCs Limited had attracted more customers than he could handle alone. Orders were growing, components were arriving faster than he could assemble them, and the direct-to-consumer model required a level of organization and efficiency that went beyond a small, informal setup. Scaling the business became the next critical challenge. The first step was moving out of the dorm. Michael rented a small office in Austin, Texas, equipped with room for assembly, storage, and administrative work. This modest transition marked a major milestone. The company was no longer just a student project, it was a real business. With space to expand, he could hire employees, create specialized roles, and implement structured processes to keep up with growing demand. Hiring presented its own challenges. Dell needed skilled workers who could assemble computers efficiently and maintain high standards of quality. He also needed staff to manage orders, handle customer service, and coordinate shipments. Michael's approach to hiring reflected his overall philosophy. He looked for motivated individuals who were flexible, willing to learn, and passionate about technology. Many of the first employees were recent graduates, or young tech enthusiasts, eager to be part of something new and exciting. The company also had to refine its production processes. Michael introduced assembly lines, standardized testing procedures, and inventory management systems. Components were organized for efficiency, and workflows were optimized to minimize delays and errors. The goal was simple but ambitious: deliver high-quality, customized computers to customers faster and more reliably than competitors. Marketing and sales evolved alongside operations. Dell expanded beyond local customers, using catalogs and direct mail to reach businesses and consumers across the country. Word-of-mouth recommendations remained crucial, but Michael recognized that growth required broader visibility. Clear messaging, emphasizing customization, affordability, and direct service, helped establish the company's reputation nationally. Financial management became increasingly important. As PCs Limited grew, cash flow management was critical. Michael carefully balanced reinvestment in inventory, office space, and personnel with the need to maintain profitability. He avoided unnecessary debt, focusing instead on controlled, sustainable growth. This disciplined approach laid the foundation for long-term stability. By the late 1980s, Dell had become a recognized name in the PC market. What had started as a dorm room experiment had grown into a structured company capable of handling thousands of orders each month. The principles that had guided Michael from the beginning, direct engagement with customers, attention to quality, and operational efficiency, now defined the company's competitive edge. Growth brought challenges, of course. Competition was increasing, and the PC market was becoming more crowded. But Michael's strategy of focusing on customer needs and building a flexible, lean operation positioned Dell to take advantage of the rapidly expanding personal computer revolution. The stage was set for the next leap, transforming a successful regional business into a national powerhouse and, eventually, a global brand. Dell's journey was no longer about survival. It was about dominance. By the late 1980s, Dell had firmly established itself as a formidable player in the personal computer market. The dorm room operation had grown into a well-oiled machine with a loyal customer base, efficient assembly processes, and a clear vision for growth. Yet Michael Dell knew that to compete on a larger scale, the company needed more capital, greater visibility, and the infrastructure to support nationwide expansion. The solution was an initial public offering, IPO. In 1988, PCs Limited, now renamed Dell Computer Corporation, went public, raising $30 million in capital. The IPO was not just a financial milestone, it was a validation of Michael's vision. Investors recognized the potential of a company that had disrupted the traditional retail model, offering customized PCs directly to customers at competitive prices. The capital infusion gave Dell the resources to expand operations, hire talent, and invest in new technologies. Going public also required professionalization. Michael implemented corporate governance structures, financial reporting standards, and management hierarchies appropriate for a publicly traded company. While the HP way and Dell's hands-on culture remained central, the company now had to meet the expectations of shareholders, analysts, and regulators. Balancing these pressures with the need to maintain agility became a defining challenge. With increased resources, Dell embarked on national expansion. The company established additional assembly plants and distribution centers to reach customers more efficiently across the United States. Regional offices and service centers allowed Dell to provide personalized customer support while managing logistics on a much larger scale. Direct sales via phone and mail order catalogs were complemented by early explorations into online ordering, anticipating the digital revolution that would dominate the 1990s. Marketing played a critical role in this expansion. Dell emphasized customer-focused messaging, highlighting the advantages of direct sales, customization, and value for money. Unlike competitors, who relied heavily on retailers and advertising campaigns, Dell's approach combined personal outreach with mass communication tools. Customer testimonials and case studies demonstrated reliability, performance, and satisfaction, reinforcing the company's brand promise. Operational efficiency remained central to Dell's strategy. Lean manufacturing principles, tight inventory management, and responsive supply chains allowed the company to scale without sacrificing quality. Each computer could be customized without slowing production, a competitive advantage that competitors found difficult to replicate. Michael's insistence on maintaining control over every aspect of production and sales ensured that rapid growth did not compromise the customer experience. The combination of public funding, national distribution, and operational discipline propelled Dell into the top tier of U.S. PC companies. By the early 1990s, Dell was competing with established giants like IBM and Compaq, carving out a unique niche through its direct-to-consumer model. The IPO and national expansion proved that Michael Dell's vision, born in a dorm room, could scale to a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. It also set the stage for the next phase: global expansion, internet sales, and the transformation of Dell from a domestic success into an international technology powerhouse. By the mid-1990s, Dell had firmly established itself as a leader in the U.S. PC market. The direct-to-consumer model, combined with efficient manufacturing and customized computers, had set Dell apart from competitors. But the world was changing rapidly. Personal computers were becoming a global necessity, and the rise of the Internet offered new opportunities for sales, marketing, and customer engagement. Dell recognized that the next frontier was global expansion. the company began establishing international operations in key markets. Europe was a natural first step, with offices and distribution centers opening in the United Kingdom, Germany, and France. These offices were not just sales hubs. They handled assembly, local customer service, and marketing tailored to regional needs. By understanding local cultures, regulations, and consumer preferences, Dell ensured that its global operations retained the personalized touch that defined the brand. Asia presented both opportunity and challenge. Rapidly growing economies in Japan, China, and Southeast Asia demanded reliable, high-performance PCs for businesses, schools, and government institutions. Dell invested in local supply chains and service networks, enabling timely delivery and support. Partnerships with regional distributors complemented Dell's direct sales strategy, ensuring that customers had access to both the brand and its renowned service. The rise of the Internet in the mid-1990s revolutionized Dell's approach to sales. The company launched its direct online ordering platform, allowing customers to customize and purchase computers through the web. This move eliminated intermediaries entirely, streamlined operations, and expanded reach to previously inaccessible markets. The Internet also provided Dell with real-time feedback, enabling faster response to customer preferences, component availability, and emerging technology trends. Dell's online model proved transformative. It allowed the company to collect data on purchasing behavior, optimize inventory, and forecast demand with unprecedented accuracy. Customers could configure machines to their exact specifications and receive delivery in days rather than weeks. This level of personalization and efficiency became a hallmark of the Dell experience worldwide. Global expansion required more than infrastructure and technology. It required organizational adaptation. Dell established regional management teams empowered to make decisions quickly, balancing corporate standards with local flexibility. Training programs ensured that employees understood both the technical aspects of the products and the company's customer-centric philosophy. The HP Way-inspired culture of respect, accountability, and innovation became a global standard within Dell's operations. By the early 2000s, Dell was a true international powerhouse. The company dominated the direct PC market, competing successfully against long-established brands in every major region. Its online platform became a model for e-commerce, influencing not just computer sales but retail practices across industries. Yet, with global success came new challenges. Competition intensified, technology cycles accelerated, and customer expectations grew higher. Maintaining quality, efficiency, and innovation while managing a sprawling international enterprise would test Dell's leadership in ways the dorm-room startup had never imagined. The stage was set for the next phase: diversification beyond personal computers, strategic partnerships, and navigating the complex dynamics of a technology-driven global economy. Dell was no longer just a college kid's vision, it was a company shaping the future of personal computing worldwide. By the early 2000s, Dell had become a global leader in personal computers, but Michael Dell recognized that relying solely on consumer PCs would limit the company's long-term growth. The technology landscape was evolving rapidly, and businesses demanded more than desktops and laptops. Servers, storage solutions, and enterprise services were emerging as critical components of the IT ecosystem. To remain competitive and continue scaling, Dell needed to diversify its offerings. The company's first major push was into enterprise solutions. Dell began offering servers designed for small and medium-sized businesses, leveraging its existing direct sales model to provide customized configurations and rapid delivery. By bundling these servers with support contracts and consulting services, Dell created an attractive package for businesses seeking reliability without the complexity and overhead of traditional enterprise IT solutions. Acquisitions became an essential part of this strategy. Dell carefully targeted companies that complemented its strengths, from storage providers to networking specialists. These acquisitions allowed Dell to expand its capabilities quickly, integrating new technologies and expertise without starting from scratch. Each move was aligned with the principle that Dell should deliver end-to-end solutions for both consumer and corporate clients. Another focus was services and support. Dell understood that selling hardware alone would not guarantee loyalty or long-term revenue. By offering consulting, managed IT services, and extended warranties, Dell positioned itself as a partner rather than just a supplier. This approach strengthened customer relationships and diversified revenue streams beyond one-time hardware sales. Global operations were also optimized to support this broader focus. Regional offices and distribution centers were upgraded to handle more complex enterprise orders, coordinate multi-component systems, and ensure timely deployment. Supply chains were made more flexible, allowing Dell to respond quickly to changing technology trends and customer demands. Internally, Dell invested in research and development to anticipate the future of computing. Projects ranged from advanced server architectures to enterprise software integration, cloud-ready systems, and emerging technologies. Michael Dell encouraged innovation while maintaining the operational discipline that had fueled the company's growth from its dorm room origins. Diversification was not without risk. Entering new markets required capital, expertise, and careful management of brand reputation. Dell had to ensure that its expansion into enterprise solutions did not dilute its consumer-focused identity. The solution lay in maintaining core principles, direct engagement with customers, customization, and operational excellence, while adapting strategies for different market segments. By the mid-2000s, Dell had successfully transformed from a PC company into a full-spectrum technology provider. It was no longer just the world's leading direct PC vendor. It was a global IT solutions powerhouse capable of serving individuals, businesses, and institutions alike. This strategic diversification positioned Dell to navigate the increasingly complex and competitive technology landscape, preparing the company for the next phase, innovation in the digital era, adapting to new consumer behaviors, and competing with emerging tech giants in a rapidly changing world. By the late 2000s, technology was moving faster than ever. The rise of cloud computing, mobile devices, and digital services was transforming how people and businesses interacted with technology. For Dell, innovation was no longer just about efficient assembly and direct sales. It was about anticipating the future and adapting the company to a digital-first world. One of Dell's major initiatives was expanding into cloud computing and virtualization. Businesses increasingly demanded scalable, flexible IT solutions rather than fixed, on-premises systems. Dell responded by offering servers, storage, and networking solutions optimized for cloud deployment. Its enterprise clients could now manage digital workloads more efficiently, and Dell's ability to deliver customized solutions gave it a competitive edge over traditional vendors. The consumer market was also evolving. Laptops, smartphones, and tablets were becoming central to everyday life, and customers expected seamless connectivity, high performance, and integrated services. Dell launched new product lines, including ultra-portable laptops and all-in-one desktops, focusing on design, reliability, and user experience. At the same time, the company enhanced its online sales platform, making it easier for customers to configure and purchase devices with speed and confidence. Innovation extended beyond hardware. Dell invested heavily in digital services, including IT consulting, managed solutions, and cloud-based software. These services allowed the company to form long-term partnerships with clients, creating recurring revenue streams and deeper integration into customers' operations. Dell was no longer just a product vendor. It had become a solutions provider, capable of addressing complex business and consumer needs. Sustainability and efficiency were also key drivers of innovation. Dell introduced eco-friendly materials in its products, optimized supply chains to reduce waste, and implemented recycling programs for old devices. This commitment to environmental responsibility reflected both corporate values and market demand, appealing to increasingly conscious consumers and businesses. Internally, Dell embraced a culture of continuous improvement. Research and development teams focused on emerging technologies like cloud infrastructure, data analytics, and cybersecurity. Agile workflows allowed new ideas to move from concept to market quickly, ensuring Dell remained relevant in a fast-paced digital landscape. The company also leveraged its direct sales model to gather real-time feedback. By analyzing customer preferences, purchasing patterns, and service inquiries, Dell could anticipate trends and adapt offerings accordingly. This data-driven approach became a cornerstone of its innovation strategy, bridging the gap between product development and customer expectations. By the early 2010s, Dell had successfully transformed into a modern digital enterprise. It was a company capable of competing not only with hardware giants but also with emerging tech firms in cloud computing and enterprise services. Its foundation in direct customer engagement, operational efficiency, and adaptability allowed Dell to navigate the challenges of the digital era while remaining true to its founding principles. The company's journey demonstrated that innovation was not merely about technology. It was about understanding change, responding proactively, and delivering value in new and meaningful ways. Dell had evolved from a dorm room startup into a forward-looking global technology leader, ready for the challenges of an increasingly connected world. As Dell grew into a global technology powerhouse, maintaining the culture that had fueled its success became increasingly important. Michael Dell knew that the company's competitive edge did not come solely from products or processes. It came from people, vision, and values. Leadership and corporate culture became central to sustaining growth, innovation, and employee engagement. From the very beginning, Michael's leadership style emphasized hands-on involvement and accountability. He remained deeply engaged with operations, from product design to customer feedback, while empowering managers to make critical decisions. This balance of oversight and trust ensured that employees felt ownership of their work while staying aligned with the company's strategic objectives. Dell cultivated a culture of direct communication. Ideas flowed freely across departments, and employees were encouraged to challenge assumptions and propose solutions. Michael believed that the best innovations often came from those closest to the work, whether it was assembly line staff identifying efficiency improvements or software developers suggesting new service offerings. This openness fostered creativity and problem-solving at all levels. Employee development was another cornerstone. Dell invested in training programs, mentorship opportunities, and clear career paths. The company rewarded initiative and results, promoting a meritocratic environment where performance and dedication were recognized. This approach attracted talented individuals and nurtured loyalty, even as the company expanded globally. Corporate culture also reflected customer focus. Dell's teams were taught to see themselves as extensions of the customer's experience. Whether designing hardware, providing technical support, or managing sales, employees were encouraged to prioritize satisfaction, responsiveness, and reliability. This principle, rooted in the company's dorm room origins, remained a defining feature of Dell's operations. During periods of rapid growth and diversification, Michael Dell worked to preserve core values while integrating new employees, technologies, and market strategies. He communicated regularly with staff, sharing the company's vision, celebrating successes, and addressing challenges transparently. Leadership retreats, town hall meetings, and feedback channels reinforced a shared sense of purpose and community. Dell also recognized the importance of adaptability. The tech industry evolved quickly, and corporate culture needed to encourage flexibility, continuous learning, and resilience. Employees were trained to embrace change, experiment with new ideas, and respond to market shifts proactively. This mindset enabled Dell to navigate both technological disruptions and competitive pressures without losing its identity. Global operations posed unique challenges for cultural cohesion. Michael ensured that regional offices shared the company's values while respecting local customs and business practices. Standardized principles, combined with local autonomy, created a unified yet flexible corporate culture that could thrive across continents. By the mid-2010s, Dell's leadership and culture had become a model for sustainable growth in the technology sector. The company's success was not only measured in revenue and market share but also in employee engagement, customer loyalty, and operational excellence. Michael Dell's ability to combine visionary leadership with a strong, adaptive culture allowed the company to maintain its competitive edge while scaling globally. In the next phase, Dell would face new challenges in mergers, acquisitions, and digital transformation, testing the strength of its leadership and culture in an even more complex business environment. By the mid-2010s, Dell had firmly established itself as a global leader in computing, enterprise solutions, and digital services. Yet the technology landscape was changing faster than ever. Cloud computing, cybersecurity, virtualization, and big data were redefining the way businesses operated. To remain competitive, Dell needed not only to innovate internally but also to strategically expand through mergers and acquisitions. One of the most transformative moves came in 2013, when Michael Dell took the company private in a leveraged buyout valued at approximately $24.4 billion. This bold decision removed the pressures of quarterly public reporting and allowed Dell to focus on long-term strategy and transformation. Freed from the constant scrutiny of Wall Street, the company could make aggressive moves to modernize its offerings and restructure operations for the digital era. Dell's acquisition strategy focused on filling gaps in technology and services. The company targeted storage, networking, cloud infrastructure, and enterprise software companies that complemented its existing capabilities. One of the most notable acquisitions was EMC Corporation in 2016, a deal valued at around $67 billion, one of the largest tech acquisitions in history. EMC's storage solutions, combined with Dell's enterprise expertise, positioned the company as a full-spectrum IT solutions provider. Integration of acquired companies required careful management. Dell worked to merge technology platforms, align corporate cultures, and ensure that customer service remained uninterrupted. The challenge was significant. Large organizations have complex structures, legacy systems, and differing priorities. Yet Dell's operational discipline, customer-centric philosophy, and leadership consistency allowed the company to absorb these acquisitions without losing its identity. Digital transformation was equally critical. Dell invested heavily in cloud computing, virtualization, cybersecurity, and analytics, ensuring that clients could navigate the rapidly evolving digital landscape. The company developed hybrid solutions, combining on-premises infrastructure with cloud capabilities, giving businesses flexibility, scalability, and security. Dell's focus on end-to-end solutions reinforced its position as a trusted partner rather than just a hardware vendor. The transformation extended to internal processes and culture. Dell embraced agile methodologies, data-driven decision-making, and cross-functional collaboration. Teams worked in integrated environments, blending software, hardware, and services expertise. This approach allowed faster innovation cycles, improved responsiveness to customer needs, and a more cohesive delivery of complex solutions. Dell's strategic moves paid off. The company became a leader in enterprise IT solutions, hybrid cloud services, and digital transformation initiatives. Customers ranged from small businesses to multinational corporations, all benefiting from Dell's integrated approach and proven operational reliability. The company had effectively evolved from a direct-to-consumer PC startup into a global technology powerhouse capable of addressing the most complex IT challenges. Yet the journey was ongoing. The tech landscape continued to evolve, requiring Dell to anticipate trends, embrace emerging technologies, and remain agile in the face of disruption. The lessons of innovation, diversification, and leadership would remain vital as the company prepared for the next phase, consolidating its legacy, investing in future technologies, and continuing to redefine what a technology company could be. Dell's journey from a college dorm room to a global technology powerhouse is a testament to vision, innovation, and relentless determination. Michael Dell's story embodies the spirit of entrepreneurship, spotting opportunity, challenging conventional wisdom, and building systems that empower both customers and employees. By the 2020s, Dell had become more than a company. It was an institution, shaping the way businesses and individuals interact with technology worldwide. The company's legacy rests on several core principles. Direct engagement with customers remained central, whether through online platforms, personalized service, or enterprise solutions. Dell's focus on operational excellence ensured that even as the company scaled globally, efficiency, quality, and reliability remained uncompromised. And the culture of innovation and adaptability allowed Dell to navigate the turbulent waters of the technology sector for decades. Beyond products and services, Dell's impact is visible in global business practices. The direct-to-consumer model, once considered risky, has inspired countless startups and reshaped retail industries. Dell's approach to lean operations, supply chain management, and customer-centric design has influenced how companies worldwide structure their operations, demonstrating that innovation is as much about systems and processes as it is about technology. Michael Dell's leadership philosophy also left a mark. By combining strategic vision with hands-on involvement, he maintained the agility of a startup even as the company grew into a multinational corporation. His commitment to employee development, transparent communication, and long-term planning has created a resilient organization capable of weathering technological, economic, and competitive challenges. Looking forward, Dell continues to invest in emerging technologies, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, edge computing, cybersecurity, and hybrid IT solutions. The company understands that future growth depends on anticipating change, embracing new markets, and maintaining flexibility in an increasingly interconnected world. Dell's evolution shows that a company's ability to adapt while staying true to its core principles is the key to long-term success. The story of Dell also underscores the power of vision combined with execution. A college student with a simple idea, customized PCs sold directly to consumers, built a global empire that changed an industry. Dell's journey teaches that bold thinking, disciplined operations, and a deep understanding of customer needs can turn a small startup into a lasting legacy. Ultimately, Dell's story is not just about technology or business success. It is about building systems that empower people, anticipating the future, and leaving a lasting impact on the world. From a dorm room in Austin to offices, factories, and data centers around the globe, Dell demonstrates that with vision, dedication, and innovation, even the most ambitious dreams can become reality. As the company moves further into the digital era, its guiding principles, customer focus, operational efficiency, innovation, and culture, remain as relevant as ever, ensuring that Dell will continue to shape the technology landscape for years to come.